Stop what you're doing, because what Cleetus McFarland admitted after Nashville might be the most brutally honest thing we've heard from a NASCAR driver all year. Not because he won, not because he shocked the field, and definitely not because he had a perfect race. Quite the opposite. Because after another difficult night, filled with spins, mistakes, penalties, and frustration, Cleetus McFarland did something that almost never happens in modern motorsports. He told the truth, the whole truth. No excuses. No blaming the car. No blaming NASCAR. No blaming his team. Just one brutal admission that has NASCAR fans asking a serious question. Is Cleetus McFarland actually in over his head? Now I know that's going to make some people angry, because Cleetus isn't just a driver. He's one of the biggest automotive creators on the planet. Millions of subscribers. Millions of fans. A guy who can fill racetracks with people who don't even watch NASCAR. But Nashville exposed something that nobody can ignore anymore. Because while the cameras were focused on the leaders, Cleetus was spinning, again, making rookie mistakes, again, and watching a promising night unravel one problem at a time. The scary part, most of the damage wasn't caused by another driver. It wasn't bad luck. It wasn't dirty racing. According to Cleetus himself, he caused it, every bit of it. And that's where this story becomes uncomfortable, because there are now two completely different conversations happening in NASCAR. One side says, this is exactly how a rookie learns. You make mistakes, you spin, you struggle, you improve. The other side, they think NASCAR's biggest YouTube star is getting opportunities that more qualified drivers can only dream about. And after Nashville, those critics suddenly have new ammunition, because this wasn't just one mistake. It became a chain reaction. One spin became damaged equipment. Damaged equipment became handling issues. Handling issues became lost laps. Lost laps became pit road mistakes. Pit road mistakes became penalties. And penalties turned a promising race into another frustrating finish. That's when Cleetus dropped the quote that has everybody talking. He admitted that in NASCAR, your own problems compound badly. In other words, one mistake can destroy your entire night. And Nashville proved exactly that. But here's what makes this story different. Most drivers hide from nights like this. Most drivers give politically correct answers. Most drivers point fingers somewhere else. Cleetus didn't. He looked directly into the camera and basically said, I did this. And believe it or not, that honesty may be the biggest reason NASCAR insiders are still taking him seriously. Because while the finishing position looked ugly, some people inside the garage actually walked away impressed, including one NASCAR legend, Dale Earnhardt Jr. What happened between Dale Jr. and Cleetus after the race tells you everything you need to know about how NASCAR veterans are viewing this experiment. Because despite the spins, despite the penalties, despite the criticism, Dale Jr. delivered a message that could completely change how fans look at Cleetus McFarland's future. Tonight, we're breaking down the spins, the mistakes, the penalties, the brutal admission, and why Nashville may have revealed a truth about Cleetus McFarland that nobody expected. Because the biggest story from Nashville wasn't where Cleetus finished, it was what he admitted afterward. And trust me, the answer is a lot more complicated than most fans realize. Something happened after COTA that NASCAR fans cannot stop arguing about. Not because of a crash, not because of a penalty, and not because Tyler Reddick won. It's because of how he won. 3 races, 3 wins, a historic start. Nobody has pulled off before, but now questions are starting to spread through the garage. Questions about speed, questions about performance, questions that could turn one of NASCAR's hottest rivalries into something much bigger. Because according to reports circulating around the garage, not everyone walked away from Circuit of the Americas convinced they saw a normal race. And at the center of it, Tyler Reddick, Shane Van Gisbergen, and a conversation NASCAR fans are already fighting over. Was this simply greatness, or are competitors starting to notice something unusual? Let's break down exactly what happened. COTA was supposed to belong to Shane Van Gisbergen. Road courses are where SVG becomes dangerous. Everybody knew it. Everybody expected it. Even after starting deeper in the field, SVG did exactly what SVG always does. Move forward, apply pressure, get stronger as the race develops. By the end of stage 1, he had already climbed into contention. Meanwhile, Tyler Reddick wasn't just running well, He was executing perfectly. Strategy, pace, pit timing. Everything looked sharp. Stage 2 changed everything. While some teams focused on stage points, others gambled for track position. Reddick played the long game, giving up short-term gain, thinking bigger, thinking about the win, and that decision completely changed the race. Then came the final stage. The moment fans wanted Tyler Reddick, Shane Van Gisbergen head-to-head, one driver chasing history. The other, trying to remind Nascar, who owns road courses, SVG, closed in lap after lap, pressure building, fans waiting for one mistake, one opening, one opportunity. It never came. Tyler Reddick stayed perfect. Smooth exits, clean corners. No panic, no errors. Then suddenly SVG stopped gaining. The gap opened, the race changed, and Tyler Reddick crossed the line almost 4 seconds ahead. History made, 3 straight wins. A season start nobody has ever done before. But here's where things get interesting, because according to reports floating around the garage, questions started getting asked. Private conversations, garage rumors, people looking closer. Some insiders claimed frustration was building. Not publicly, not officially, but internally. Allegedly, concerns over speed, corner exits, grip levels, performance advantages. To be absolutely clear, NASCAR has announced nothing. No investigation, no official concerns, no penalties, no evidence. Right. Now this remains garage talk. But NASCAR fans know how this works. When somebody starts winning this much, people start looking harder. Especially in modern NASCAR. Especially when somebody starts making history. And Tyler Reddick isn't just winning, he's dominating, which creates pressure. Pressure creates doubt. Doubt creates tension. And tension creates rivalries. Now suddenly, this feels bigger than one road course race. Tyler Reddick versus Shane Van Gisbergen isn't only about who drives road courses better. Now it's pride, momentum, respect, championship pressure. Because if Tyler Reddick keeps winning this season, could become legendary. But if questions keep growing, the entire conversation changes. That's why NASCAR fans cannot stop talking about COTA, because sometimes one race changes an entire season, and maybe that's exactly what just happened. So now I want to hear from you. Was Tyler Reddick simply untouchable? Is this competitive frustration from rivals? Or do you think NASCAR fans will keep asking questions? Shane Van Gisbergen just got hit with a brutal reality check at Watkins Glen, and honestly, it should terrify anyone expecting him to dominate Sunday's Cup race, because the defending Watkins Glen winner showed up this weekend as the heavy favorite, and instead, he spent most of Friday fighting his own truck, fighting mechanical problems, fighting strategy confusion, and at one point completely falling outside the top 20. Now yes, SVG still finished third, but if you only look at the final result, you completely missed what actually happened. Because underneath that podium finish, there were warning signs everywhere. And the scary part for Trackhouse Racing is this: Sunday's Cup race might be a whole lot harder than people expected. Let's break this down. SVG came into Watkins Glen carrying massive expectations. This is supposed to be his track. Last year, he embarrassed the field. Here, road courses are where Shane Van Gisbergen is supposed to dominate NASCAR. That's why this weekend matters so much. 12 races into the 2026 season, SVG sits just 19th in Cup points. Still winless, still searching for momentum, and Trackhouse desperately needs a breakthrough. So what did SVG do? Triple duty truck race, Friday, Xfinity race, Saturday with JR Motorsports Cup race, Sunday with Trackhouse. More laps, more reps, more experience on paper. It sounded smart until Friday exposed some serious problems. SVG qualified 8th for the Truck Series race with Nice Motorsports. The team even built him a custom truck specifically for this weekend. Custom pedals, custom steering setup, everything designed around his driving style. But once the green flag dropped, the race immediately started going sideways. By lap 3, SVG was already making contact in turn 1, then the speed disappeared. By the middle of stage 1, he was 18 seconds behind the leader. 18, for a driver, NASCAR fans call the best road racer in the garage. That's shocking. Then came the mechanical issues, fuel pressure problems, a broken rearview mirror, a dead helmet fan, lack of straight-line speed. At one point, SVG even radioed the team saying the truck felt completely wrong going uphill, and then came the moment that really exposed the chaos. late caution, big strategy decision, stay out, pit take tires, track position. His crew chief and spotter couldn't agree. SVG literally got on the radio asking, "What am I doing?" That is not something you want to hear from your driver during a crucial restart, especially not your supposed road course superstar. The confusion dropped him outside the top 20 with only a few laps left, and honestly, at that point, the race looked over. But then SVG reminded everyone why he's still dangerous. Massive crash into turn 1, smoke everywhere, cars spinning, tire barriers exploding, and somehow SVG sliced through the chaos perfectly. Outside top 20 to 11th in one corner, then 7th, then 3rd. Classic Shane Van Gisbergen aggression, classic survival mode. And by the time the checkered flag flew, he somehow salvaged a podium finish. But here's the important part. Listen carefully to what SVG said after the race. "We weren't quite fast enough." That sentence matters. Because deep down, SVG knows something felt off. The podium hides the reality he did not have the dominant pace people expected. And now the entire Cup garage just got a massive confidence boost heading into Sunday because drivers like Christopher Bell, Tyler, Reddick, William Byron all just watched the supposed Watkins-Glen favorite struggle badly in traffic. And remember, Watkins-Glen in May is completely different this year. Cooler weather, different grip levels, different tire behavior. Nobody truly knows what works yet. Even SVG admitted this race became more about survival than dominance. Now suddenly the pressure gets massive, because this isn't just another road course weekend anymore. This might be SVG's best shot to save his season. A win Sunday changes everything. Playoff hopes explode back to life. Momentum returns. Trackhouse breathes again. But if he struggles, then the conversation changes fast. Because for the first time since arriving in NASCAR,